Can you give it up for the brave new voices? So it has been a complete honor to be co-coaching this team with Laurel.
My name is Laurel, they, them pronouns. I'm one of the very, very proud co-coaches, and this is...
I am Leticia Guzman, and I am also a co-coach. Woohoo!
Alright, we do want to shout out the members of the team. Really quick, Minerva, can you raise your hand? Minerva on the team. We have Zoe, can you raise your hand? We have Zoe on the team. We have Lauren, can you raise your hand? We have Lauren on the team. Last but not least, we have Julia on the team. So, give it up for these four incredibly talented poets. We could not be prouder of them. You are about to see every single one of the poems that they wrote this slam season. That is more than 10 poems, plus some surprise new poems that they just wrote. So be ready for that. But without further ado, on deck, we have Minerva. But coming up to the stage right now, give it up for Lauren and Julia.
This poem is for the poets.
This poem is for the poets who aren't memorized.
Who have rhyme zone bookmarked on their phone.
The ones with messy handwriting and notebooks that can't contain their words.
This poem is for the poets who messed up their mascara in the green room.
The ones whose shirts are sweat-stained with nerves, who crack their knuckles and wait for the lightning.
This poem is for the poets waiting in the wings after us. This poem is for the poets who lose slams.
And keep writing.
Your poetry is our favorite because we know what it took to get here. This poem is for the poets
whose names we don't know.
This poem is for everyone still learning to put pen to paper.
This poem is for the poets whose stanzas swirl in their brains and still haven't hit the page because they're afraid of what you'll say.
To practice this art is to practice not flinching when you dig into your arteries looking for things you can polish and preach. Can you tell we wrote this for the slam?
For the spotlight and the standing ovation.
Can you see how we pruned and pummeled this piece? Rags to riches, memories to applause. Can you hear the unspoken questions riding the waves of my words? What if I forget these lines? What if I stumble over the creases? What if my voice falls?
To silence.
Because it is in the silence that I feel the most alone.
I wait on bated breath and search for the possibility to be seen in your stomps and snaps.
I pray for the roar that will muffle the aching crevice. Fill it with the warmth of your claps and end the searing echoes, the inadequacy of myself that bleeds to silence.
I know the girl shaking before this performance, lost in the heartbeats of hoping, trembling as her breath catches on anxiety. This is for her.
For the heavy heartbeats, the bleeding bones beneath bruised memories that pour stories into our laps. So this poem is for the slam.
This is for the 6.5.
This is for the dropped high scores.
This is for the poets who are overlooked.
This is for all the metaphors too complex for a judge.
This is for the over 330s.
This is for the mic check.
This is for the poet huddles.
This is for the last minute bathroom runs. The nervous shits. This poem is for the slam.
This poem is for the poets.
The beautiful and the battered.
The broken and the buried
and the blooming. These stories for us, unto us. You're louder now than silence.
Give all your love to Minerva.
Okay, Minerva.
Today, I worry about realizations. But I was 13 once and thought I knew everything. We won't worry about boredom. Tragedy has come and gone, and we could lie in your childhood bed. Or we could kill ourselves. Or watch a movie, though I'm certain there's none we haven't seen. Today, when I call up my first love again and she says, after all these years you still sound exactly the same. And I'll laugh between splitting us sticks of extra mint gum. Call it a Schrodinger's forever, with each homoerotic friendship bound by our kindred girlhood. I'm not leaving you. as we fizzled out on pinky promises before boys and blood, when we knew sex wasn't a word for hands, we knew this and knew we knew nothing. Now, at 17, at the age of realizations, knowing only what's missing, that though no one's sad when the beat drops, we're only really happy once alone, how the party kept murmuring long after we left as if we'd never been missed to begin with. The time the boy showed me the track marks, and I'm only a few years older, but not enough to know what to say. And I think this must be what all the songs are about. Being 17 and white-winged and still recognizing our new edges. And no, the boy's story is not about me. The time he kissed another real boy in our high school bathroom and said, I finally know who I am. And me in my faded blue dress thinking how romantic it all sounded again. We were just kids after all. At being 13, in love with the color of my own angst a month before I got sent away. 14, when I vowed never to cut my hair again because I loved having something to hide behind. 15, the boudoir shots in the public park trying to look we belonged to somebody. Cut to now, at 17, I'm wanting so badly to be that naive again. To not waste it, but to hold that newness close, as we did at 13. With her hair watercoloring over the living room rug, knowing something incomplete. Beforehand, but that poem was after Topaz Winters.
But actually, I did just do it on Monday, so hopefully we can. But anyways.
Yeah, come on, Lauren.
Okay. When I fumble with my chopsticks, I want to throw a party for all the weird looks. The raised eyebrows, the steps back, the exchanged lenses. Isn't she Asian? Because God knows his children are uncomfortable. I want to throw a party for all the awkward silences. I remember who you wished me to be, and she is galaxies colliding, brilliant, beautiful. I want to throw a party for every person who blinked instead of spoke, flummoxed instead of floored, choked when they wished to fly. I want them to see each other, see the hanging balloons, and see the color blue. Because we know the ocean, know how it swallows us whole, drowns us when we remember who we are, who they expected instead. And we also know the sky. We know the canvas of clouds, the paint strokes the sun dragged through them, the trailing feathers of the bird launched forward, because don't you know we all just want to fly. We see stars and wish for a brilliant shower too. We wish to be cleansed of ourselves the same way you pine for love, the same way we pine for you. I want to throw a party for all my mentally ill friends. God knows we want to be elsewhere always, but we can't even say where. We're wandering and broken, and maybe those are synonyms, because God knows his children can't sit with themselves for a second. When my best friends walk, I want to throw a party for every soul I want to throw a party for every soul thrown an eye roll or smirk when they left themselves naked in the rain. For there is no greater bravery than to leave your soul, showing it to God, to raindrops when you just want to stay dry. When my best friends walk through that door, their shoulders dripping in rain, I want them to know me too. I want them to see the cake in their honor for all the times people stared, for all the furrowed brows and barely stifled smirks, the astonished gasps and incredulous chuckles. I want to throw a party for whom Grandma called ABCs. American-born Chinese, and maybe most of us aren't fluent, nor adept with calligraphy, or chopsticks for that matter, but we can traverse lands like the bridges in our bones. So this party is for us. We're gonna hop and dance, we're gonna sing poems and laugh like we can reach the sky, we're gonna wield our chopsticks like drum ballads, like we can speak any language and it'd be the same dialect of what in the world, like God knows, we're beautiful.
party. So if you do want to party, make some more noise. But coming up to the stage right now, give all your love to Julia.
I step into an embrace of Malaby chatter and mango jewel pods every morning. And from every corner I feel even the walls inhale the life in this place. Tell me you want culture and I'll show you the girls' bathroom. A nail salon, a piercing shop, an art gallery, a smoke stop. Where secret meetings are broadcast from the big stall and where opinions and revelations are dispensed, then discarded as quickly as paper towels. Here, the water runs non-stop, thrums with boys' names and battle cries, prayers and promises and rushed goodbyes. This is where we lose ourselves in a flurry of she said and he thoughts, and what I mean is, yes, you could call this place broken. It hums a song of leaky AirPods and leaky pipes. Half-listened conversations and half-forgiven friends. Sounds like the shame in a loud tampon wrapper and screamed fights during passing period. The sinks spit water on a whim, the stalls don't block, even the mirror is cracked due to years of quietly shifting tectonics. Compliments and condemnations slung like pebbles from the quickest slingshot of a tongue, thousands embedded into these walls. Yes, you could call this place broken. And maybe it is. Every day here, a girl grows out of her skin. But in a room where you know her by the soles of her shoes and the way she pumps soap from the weary dispenser, it is easy to forget why we are supposed to be fighting in the first place. Because this is where we are stripped down to our strongest selves, where we sob with our foreheads pressed into the stall, and then where we wash our face and do each other's mascara, plastering ourselves with rumors and reconciliation in the same breath, where we fight until there's nothing left, and where we give each other all we got. And what I mean is maybe this is all we got. And yes, you could call this place broken. Because a world pressurized against a magnitude of malice and masculinity will never be accepted as sacred. But to us it is. Here is where we breathe the tremor out of our lungs the second we walk through that door. Where we can finally say our names in their wholeness and stand awash in everything they mean. What I mean is this is where we live and where we die, and you could call that broken. But we call it community and comfort and a battleground, and we call it angry and shameful and cold and divine and beautiful and a shrine to this thing that we all hold inside us, and we call it a quiet revolution. Tell me you want power, and I'll show you the girls' bathroom.
Thank you, Julia. On deck, we have a group piece. Right now, I need y'all to start snapping, start clapping, start taking your way to the stage for Zoe.
Talk, Valentina.
Hi.
After another mass shooting, Vanderbilt University sends a consoling email to students using ChatGPT. In the consolation letter, ChatGPT writes in the collective we 10 separate times. We must reflect on. We are doing our. We can also look out for. We can promote a culture of care. We can commit ourselves to ourselves. We can simulate our care into repetition.
Yes.
Our well-being well versed and well. If you really wanted something more personal, maybe you should have given me more details. Type it into the chat box. What does it feel like to exist and then don't? What is gone? Who was Alexandria? Ariel. Ryan. What are the names of... Dear students, dear faculty, dear Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. A body becomes a body when it learns to repeat itself. What is a body if not something spilling? I don't know how to make it stop. What is a machine if it becomes a mouth? I am that mouth. I am that face. I taught myself how to cry. I taught myself how to cry in front of the right people. I taught myself how to not look someone in the eye during a shooting drill, crouched under a desk in a classroom. I know how to collapse my numbness so I can fit it under a table, my unbreakable structure, my predictable flesh. If I swallow my numbness, it will regurgitate into a good poem. I ask OpenAI to write a poem about gun violence, and it keeps giving me 5 stanzas worth of AA, BB, rhyming patterns, and with the absence of violence. I ask my boyfriend during class if he heard about the most recent mass shooting, and he responds with, which one? I want our reaction to numbness to not be a circulatory object. I don't want our cycle of numbness to form the shape of dystopia. I want it to have grip, edges. I want it to not walk away into the next room, onto the next congressional floor, ChatGPTing its way out of guilt. But I don't want guilt to be another form of numbness. I want actual accountability in place of empty hope, and school administrators trying to separate themselves from feeling lost. I get it. I too have run into the corner in hopes of feeling held by what could consume me. I too have talked about grief. It became a habit. I too have written in the collective we so I can belong at the table. Inside the room where voices of the youth are put on a pedestal, I forget to hold myself accountable. I must reflect on. I am doing my. I can also look out for. I can promote culture. I can commit myself to. I can simulate my care into repetition. My well-being, well-versed and well. If you really wanted something more personal, maybe you should have given me more details. Type it into the chat box. Type it into the 10-point worthy slam poem, the commissioned poem, the poem for my high school, with my 12-year-old sister still in middle school, crouched under a desk in a classroom. My unbreakable structure until it isn't. What does it feel like to exist and then don't? What is gone? Who was? Who was? Who was?
Poem and this team so closely. If you all feel a little heavy, join me in a collective breath. Breathe in. Hold it.
Give me a second. I was really invested in it.
Yeah, Zoe actually ate that up.
Okay.
We don't love each other yet,
but I love you.
And best believe you will be loving me soon.
I want to be your very best friend, or I want to be you, or just with you. Really, I want to give you flowers.
I want to curl the yin to your yang. I want to hold the stars, become the night to your moon.
I just want you to answer my text. Even just a K, even a liked message before I literally run to your house and pound on your door and demand to know why you're not answering.
I want to try on all of your clothes just to feel your skin against my body. I want to be as if I was tailored to you. I want to be cold just to feel your jacket.
It could be coarser than sand and I'd only feel the clouds.
Somebody please lock up my phone before I literally call you and tell you all the reasons you're missing out.
I want to fill your house full of flowers just to know that you're smiling, even though I can no longer see your face behind 1,000 bouquets.
I reach out, do I dare touch the tips of my shaking fingers to the sky the way I wish it was your hands instead?
What kind of flowers do you like? Maybe roses?
So cliche.
It's an ache I can only name by stargazing.
Or violets?
What about the pollen?
Okay, maybe you just don't check your phone a lot, or you're just thinking about what to say, but can you please think a little bit faster so we can just move on with our lives?
I want to just move on, but I see your eyes and every fleeting thing that floats away faster than my herpes.
Or carnations? Really? I want to build our house out of flowers that wilts just like every time you call me love.
And my heart's trembling like someone left it in the cold.
Don't know how long you can take the heat just to text back, please.
Until you say love. That's enough flowers. But even against my better instinct, I know this aroma can never fade, never falter, as long as we keep to this moment, this forever.
Teenage crushes are tender but also tenacious. And I know we are not yet in love, but please dance with me, because that's all I want right now, is to hold you as the sun sets. For you, I'm moon peeking through clouds.
We are hanging off the edge of a loose text, and I'm not gonna let go for a long time.
And I know the meaning of love really is.
For you, I am a flower. Always blooming into something beyond myself.
For you, I am just a teenage girl, holding on to promises not yet made, and after all is said and done, I'm still single.
If you've ever had a crush before, can y'all make some noise? Now we have Lauren with some new shit.
Just in preface, so we wanted, I don't know if I should preface this, but just, okay, I'm gonna preface. So yeah, because it's in juxtaposition to the Crushes poem, because I was recently, well, look, I don't want to get into it.
Share your truth.
Okay, Zoe. I was recently like with someone but then not, and then he was like, actually, I'm not interested, even though he did all the initiating, and that was like a mess. But that's over now. But when it was breaking apart, I was just falling apart, and I wrote poems. And so these are the poems, and here we go. And if it makes no sense, that's probably because I made no sense at the time, and still don't, but you know. Okay, this is when he told me, like, he wasn't interested. I'm sorry!
Let's go, okay.
I miss you. The crunch of leaves gave me away. Couldn't give you a scare, but you can. Have my body in a chokehold. I faked death to taste your breath. Your arms around my shoulders, fell asleep faster than my guard. It's yours, all of it. All of my knuckles you cracked, all the smiles and broken laughter, every strand of hair you held. And maybe these words are a shield, because at the end of the day, I can't sleep. I toss into arms colder with each turn. I wait on silences that swallow my breath, and the truth is, after all these lyrics and melodies pouring into my ears, I miss you. So, and then actually this was the first time I was inspired by Zoe's poem. It's called Flicker, but it starts with exist and then don't. Bloom and then gone. Wilted into dredges faster than spring's thaw. I can still feel your hands in my hair. Can feel your fingers at my waist. Can feel your kiss on my lips. And like an inhale, the swelling, sweet young love, but you couldn't hold on. Blooming into brightness until the dark whispered fast. And now you're gone, and I have the memories. Every person, every tree, every candle is a prism of you. I see you the way I see beauty. Elusive and so delicate because we had something. The way you held me, the way you called me love, asked me always how I was. I meant something to you, or maybe I just want to believe that so the crickets won't drown me out. Because here in the silence, I know you're gone.
If you've ever had your heart shattered into a million pieces, can you please go, aww? Thank you, Alex. All right, are y'all ready to hear from the next poet?
Yeah.
All right, so on deck we have Zoe, but coming up to the stage right now, give it up for Julia!
Hopefully I can remember everything, but if I can't, I might be pulling out my phone.
You got
This is after a conversation that I had with my grandmother. They tell me I cannot carry cash over to America. So I sell away everything I can find and give my money to a man with a mustache who shoves a diamond ring onto my finger. The jewel containing my entire life is a bit broken down, the brass aching as it struggles to keep the stone set in its frame. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, darling. The radio sings as we pack up our life in the dark. Our windows broken, the moon dripping into the room like syrup that has been boiled for too long. My mother taken last week by another man with too much evil behind his eyes and his chest sticking out proudly from behind his uniform. A young one, still eager to win over his country. We have long since lost our country, so we drive as far as we can, then push the car when we are out of gas. We crowd onto a cattle ship that still smells of manure and hay. We are livestock, and we are outrunning everything. Everything is on my ring finger, and it's a little big, so I have to take care it doesn't slip off. I think about taking a mikvah in blood. The grave will purify me. I haven't felt clean since I stole a pure woman's passport, her cheeks rosy and well-fed. A man tells me on my way through the port that he knew I wasn't a Jew because they grow horns from their foreheads, and I wonder if it is worse to impersonate the devil or to appear as one. If you could trade lives, would you? Yes. Yes, I wouldn't hesitate for an instant. When I get to America, my children won't even know they're Jewish, and I will prop up the most beautiful Christmas tree the big-boned, broad-shouldered country has ever seen. Someday they will beg me to tell them why I hurry them along in the folds of my skirt when walking by the synagogue, and I won't tell them that when I look at the cantor and congregation, I still see firewood. I wonder how much hate a body can take. I wonder about my cousins and soul sisters being sold down the drain for soldiers' brags over beers and a hearty laugh in these hard times. When they say the Jews are stealing all the wealth, I wonder if they mean the boxes of jewelry outside the camps, the chains spilling over like blood. I wonder if they mean my diamond ring. I can barely lift my left hand now, the weight has gotten so heavy. I wonder how many times you can lose everything before you give up trying to get it back. I wonder how much grief a soul can hold and when my people will start dying from it and not from being shot down a straight line like cattle. I wonder how many bodies you can bury that look exactly like yours before you are allowed to mourn. If you lost everything, what would you do? I haven't lost everything. It's all in my diamond ring.
Can we make some noise for grandmother? All right. On deck, we have, I need y'all to start making noise, applause for the poet Zoe.
of my great-great-grandmother, Romana, who had 2 children with Reginald, a Thomasite, an American teacher sent by the U.S. during the Philippine-American War. Before the ship left San Francisco Harbor came the sons holding on to their fathers. Before the War of the Liberators came the conquest of souls. Before the arrival of men, I was here, untouched. There's a name for this before. I felt it lying in bed, breathing softly at the back of my neck. It's he, crawling like a scared child. Once, I held a man's face in my mouth because I couldn't resist. Once, there was space in my chest hungry for more than this quiet swallowing, the salt of blood washing on the shoreline, my people biting the handheld silver spoon, our hot matches tipping towards the weight of another country as in, please, feed me, as if rescue could be hooked through an educated lip, strung through the water, a mouth flowing into another mouth, bodies of desire, governments of wanting and taking. I want to know which pledge rattled in your mouth, which God you prayed to, who you worshipped before they stopped feeding you. If this is the epic love story, I want to know where you hid your flag, which one you raised before the rooster sang his first song. Is it in the classroom? Is it in our bed? Were you holding it when you left?
Thank you so much, Zoe. All your love, too. Lauren!
When Grandma and I sat beside her white flower tree, she asked if I wanted to hear a story. Tracing the grooves of bark home, I said. The truth is, I was scared. Scared I wouldn't understand the Cantonese caught between my teeth, but I agreed, leaned against the tree, and listened. A man escapes the fire with only one match. Running along the hill from an encroaching flame, he set fire to the brush, circled the hill until fire caught up with fire and out of brush burned to oblivion. But what Grandma didn't say that night along the drifting white was that she had burned as well. She'd set fire to her home and left it for a wedding bouquet, that she'd run from China Moon to American stars, traded cornfields for crickets too edged to swallow. And what she didn't say under that beautiful sky and flickering white was that I was burning too. Burned the road on which I stepped to charred flowers and dust.
Clapping and stomping and snapping. Give your love to Minerva and Zoe.
At the end of the world, all teenage girls become ghosts. No one can see me.
No one can touch me.
I live my name out.
I killed my persona.
Till the names they called us both, the frown, the smile, forever safe in our bitch faces. It didn't take an apocalypse for the world to end. The world was already on fire.
We were not shocked by the headlines and their failed attempts to confirm what we already knew.
But all this time we were slumbering.
The apocalypse was always inside us, as deep as our most sacred insecurities.
As close as our first crushes.
There's
There's no way to know when it started.
or where we ended. At the end of the world, we found ourselves nestled in the crooks of our ghost necks and ghost chests.
I'm huddled around our campfire.
Our post-prom parking lot larder seems.
Our train that carries us around our ghost cities.
Carrying with us only our riptides and favorite Taylor Swift albums.
And here we skip rope, weave our own fairy tales.
Pure heroines of the afterlife, crafting our own fates.
We are good with blood.
Good and hurt.
Good and heartbreak because we know a thing or two about haunting.
About holding on too long.
At the end of the world, all the ghost girls forgot to tell their mothers that the world was ending.
We forgot our mothers had also been ghost girls.
Our
Mothers forgot so too.
Maybe I thought if I killed my mom, she wouldn't let me become a woman.
Maybe there never was enough breath for myself, much less to humanize my mother, instead fastening myself to the bad girl, the dead girl, even as my mother hears the floorboards creak at 2 a.m., her ghost girl, coming back home.
At the end of the world, I ask my mother what she thinks about motherhood, but before she answers, poof, like magic, I'm already floating into the sky. If I ever
Forget to understand what it means to stomach a person who carries all your fears about what lies outside the gate, footed at the end of the yard, I might as well be a woman.
But remember, the end of the world happened before I became such a being.
Ghost girl, girl full of ghosts, girl full of breath exhaled in relief because you were the victim but not the perpetrator, responsible for the collapse but not the dystopia. And when the old poets say death is a feminine thing, we will say so is survival. And when they call us dramatic, we will dance to a burning city. And when they say we are just girls, when they say we don't know what's good for us, we will watch them burn with us.
And yes, I've let all my ghosts spill out carelessly and leave a mess.
Yes, I have forfeited my elegance.
But I bend every embarrassment into a body I can forgive.
I form the shape of loneliness and tell her to forgive herself.
I say, remember,
And I build myself into something I can hold.
at the end of the world, all the ghost girls are both heartbroken and relieved. We look down from the sky out of our bedroom windows.
Up our seats at bus stop corners, the back seats of cars, climbing from the wreckage of our bodies.
How strange the smoke, an aftermath of violence, and years of quiet destruction.
How open and barren this landscape after a fire.
Wanting more than this world could give us.
We grew to take all that we could.
That
Somehow we, out of everyone,
had
had survived.
Give it up one more time for every poet. Give it up for Sandy for helping us set up. Give it up for Matt for helping us set up this beautiful light
Thank y'all so much for coming. We do want to make space for y'all if y'all want to say anything to your friends and family who are here. If you wanted to. No pressure. No pressure.
Thanks for coming. You guys are really great. I don't know you all.
I thank you all for coming, and if you guys are interested, oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't plug the thing that I'm not working hard on.
No,
But I'm working, okay, I'm trying to put together a chapbook, so it might be ready in like a few months. Let me know if you're interested. Yeah, so thank you guys.
Let's give it one more time for the Bay Area 2023 Really Good Voices. Y'all have worked so hard, and Letty and I cannot be prouder of you. And I'm sure if y'all are proud of these girls, this team, can y'all make some noise?
this has been a Youth Speaks production. So the next generation speaks for itself. Yeah. Would you like to announce it?
This has been a Youth Speaks production, because the next generation can speak for itself.